This podcast is designed to help you reach high stakes as quickly as possible. If you're currently grinding up a roll or you're not sure if you're a winning player, tune out now. The players who are making the most money are sitting in the softest games, at the highest stakes, for the most hours. Sure, you have to be good enough to hold your own, but poker is entirely about your skill relative to the competition and the games you're actually able to get in. If you're sitting in the average high-stakes poker game, you are not surrounded by the best players in the world. Most people sitting in that game, they're there for the fish. There's a genuine edge in just having enough money that you're not scared to play, that you're willing to give action. Most players in a live game, just due to bankroll concerns and the fact that they aren't actually that good at poker, the pros are leaning generally pretty nitty. The recreational players are playing too many hands pre-flop because they didn't show up to fold. This isn't a secret. It's much more about navigating the scene, the lifestyle, the poker world, than it is about getting better at the nitty-gritty minutiae of poker theory. I've sat in 50, 100 games. Those games are softer than 200L on PokerStars. They're softer than 2K&L on Ignition. They're softer than pretty much any serious online environment. They're all trying to win, they're trying to play, but they're not devoting their lives to being hard to exploit. They're not devoting their lives to balancing their ranges like people do online. These guys have huge sizing tells. These guys are making such big mistakes with their ranges, pre-flop, flop, turn, that there's no way for them to make money against you. Even at the highest stakes, if you just know how to beat the guys who are too wide, and how to not pay the nit regs, and how to hold your own against the solid studied regs, you are now equipped to be winning. And when you can define it that way and break it down into these game plans against profiles, when you can diagnose specifically what is causing you to have these leaks yourself, to be too nitty, to play too many hands, congratulations, you've just skipped the line to playing any live game in America. You don't have to be the best player in the world to be printing in those games. You need to know how to take advantage of the known, huge, consistent mistakes that everyone at the table is making day in, day out. You need a clear enough strategy that if you lose 5 to 10 buy-ins, you aren't going to lose your mind. You're going to show up and play well again the next day or the next week. High stakes is protected by really high dollar amounts. It's protected by people like me having to travel to America and being jet lagged if we want to play in your soft game on the East Coast. It's protected by this illusion of competence, because if you look at all of these serious guys who are sitting there, they must know what they're doing, right? They must be some of the best players in the world. But when half the regs there have under 10 buy-ins for the game, and they're just waiting for good hands, it's a soft game. So to rise through the ranks quickly, this applies to everything, diagnose the actual game you're in, what people are actually doing and what they're capable of. And you have a very different study plan if you want to battle 5K&L against the best players in the world online, a very different standard of precision compared to if you play the highest stakes live. Newsflash, these guys suck at poker. They're incredibly imbalanced. The counters are very simple. Most of the coaching I do is centered on actually taking these exploits and going out there and making money immediately, while understanding where those leaks are coming from, understanding game theory well enough that you know how to play both sides of the coin. When you can take the simple exploit, you start skyrocketing up the stakes. And then the issue that a lot of people run in with is they're married to that strategy. They don't know how to shift. They don't know how to play both sides of the coin. That means they're vulnerable. That means you might make money in the average game, but then as soon as a player who's more skilled than you sits down to your left and starts exploiting you, you're not comfortable in that seat anymore. So it doesn't matter how soft the rest of the table is, you're going to have to get up and leave because you feel like you're being run over by the guy to your left. My clients who print money become the guy who you hate to see on your left. If your goal is to skip the line and start making 10 big blinds plus an hour playing high stakes live poker, send me an email.